Welcome to Selema's video tutorial on how to use ClimateStudio's Revit-to-Rhino daylight model exporter. Using ClimateStudio version 1.7 or higher, you can export your Revit model into Rhinoceros 3D for daylighting analysis. Start Revit and open the project you want to export. Navigate to the ClimateStudio tab and click the Export Daylight Model button. The Export Settings dialog box will open with two options, or three depending on if you have linked files in your project. Export Scope allows you to choose whether to export your entire model or only the active view elements. I'll choose to export my entire model. Export Geometry Type prompts you to choose between exporting NURBS when available or mesh only. NURBS surfaces are a bit easier to edit once in Rhino, so I'll leave this option selected. We can now press OK. The elements in my model are now grouped by their Revit category, with the most commonly exported categories pre-selected. You can update your export selections by clicking on the checkboxes in the first column. Let's take a look at the Floors category. There are 16 total elements and 4 different subtypes of these elements that exist inside my model. I can click on the 3 dots in the C-Types column to view these subtypes, and click on the checkbox in the Explode Types column to explode these subtypes into individual Rhino layers. Let's come back to the selection on the Rhino side. We also have the option to export rooms. By default, this is selected because this is what will define our occupied areas or simulation grids inside Rhino. Now press the OK button. After the export has completed, save the file. We can now open Rhino to a blank project. In order to import the model, navigate to one of the daylighting workflows. I'll use point-in-time illuminance. Click on the import.csv file from Revit Input and select the file you just exported. If your file contains NURBS geometry, you will be presented with this dialog box. Decide if you want to import NURBS and mesh geometry or mesh only. Press OK. And here's our model. Click on the Layers tab. As you can see, all of my Revit model's categories are now Rhino layers. Because I chose to explode types for my Floors category, I have 4 additional sublayers in my Floors layer. Looking at some of our windows, it's clear that the import process automatically converted the Revit glazing solids into single surfaces, which ensures correct behavior in the Radiance lighting engine. Double-check that all occupied areas have surface normals pointing up. Back in the ClimateStudio Workflows tab, select your location. Then, follow the list down until you have filled out all of the input parameters. I'll leave my sky luminance distribution in the sky panel as the default values. In the materials input, reassign materials as needed. I'll ignore luminaires and tubular daylighting devices for this tutorial and just add my occupied floor areas as our simulation grids in the areas input. We are now ready to run the simulation. Go back to the ClimateStudio Workflows tab and press the Start button. Thank you for watching and happy simulations!